Hello and welcome back to another Dr. Petrol video. You find me behind the wheel of what I consider to be the coolest hot hatch ever. Because today I'm driving the Renault 5 Turbo 2. This was very kindly lent to me by the owner of S2 Classic Cars. You can find their full inventory at s2-cc.com. They have an amazing inventory of classic cars. But yeah, before I tell you any more about this amazing French hot hatch, listen to that turbo whistle. Woo! This car is so much fun. Now, to really understand how the 5 Turbo came to life, we have to go back to the second half of the 70s, when Lancia was the dominant power in the World Rally Championship with their Ferrari-powered Stratos. Before that, Renault was topping the charge with their Alpine A110. Now, to be competitive again, Renault set out to develop a new rally car, and that is the 5 Turbo. The development brief was simple. In order to keep costs down, it had to be based on an existing car and require only minor modifications to get it to full rally spec. It also had to be light, nimble and powerful. Now, the French, being their quirky selves, came up with the idea to centrally mount an engine with rear-wheel drive in a front-engined, front-wheel drive Renault 5 body. So far from minor modifications. However, the idea was quickly given the go-ahead and development of the Renault 5 Turbo began. In order to be homologated for competition, Renault had to produce 400 road-going cars. So after 4 years of development, production of the Renault 5 Turbo began in 1980. And with that, it was one of the first hot hatches ever, following closely in the footsteps of the Volkswagen Golf GTI that was first introduced in 1975. However, the Renault 5 Turbo, I think we can all agree, is much cooler than the Golf GTI. For me, this is the ultimate hot hatch. It's fundamentally a rally car, the engine is in the back, it's totally bonkers, it's rear-wheel drive. And yeah, for me this is the hot hatch of all time. This particular car was built in 1985. And is one of just 3,167 Turbo 2 models. The Turbo 2 had a steel roof, steel doors and a different interior to the Turbo 1. The technical characteristics of the car were basically identical. And speaking of the technicals, let's get to the party piece of this car. The Turbo 5 has a 1.4 4-in-line turbocharged and... Oh, wait. This is awkward. I forgot the engine isn't in the front. That's right, because where most hot hatches have a functional back seat, the Renault 5 Turbo has an engine as a rear seat passenger. Now, as I was saying, the 5 Turbo has a 1.4 4-in-line turbocharged engine that sends 160 horses to the rear wheels. Now, to access the engine, the car comes with a small tool that allows you to open up the engine compartment. You just unbolt 8 bolts and there it is, sat up right against the front seat. It's really quite a small engine, so there's a bit of room for luggage back here as well. It's also the only place you will find some space for luggage, because even though the engine isn't up front, there isn't any room here. This mid-mounted engine layout is one of the main factors that makes the 5 Turbo such an iconic car. One other distinctive factor was its styling. The angular wide body style was penned by Bertone and was very much functional. To house an engine in the back and allow rear-wheel drive, the rather slim Renault 5 donor body required quite a sizable width extension of 25 centimeters. These distinctive fenders hold the intercoolers that were needed to keep the engine from overheating. The whole rear bodywork was designed by Marcello Gandini at Bertone, who ironically is also the designer of the car the Renault 5 Turbo was meant to battle, the Lancia Stratos. The arrival of the 4-wheel drive Audi Quattro and the insanely powerful Group B cars meant the 5 Turbo enjoyed limited competition success. But the 5 Turbo had stolen people's hearts and was still a massively popular rally car amongst privateers. To be honest, I can't wait to experience what made it so popular, so let's hop in and take it out for a drive. So, the Renault 5 Turbo. Where do I start? It has a top speed of 200 kilometers an hour. It weighs just 970 kilos. Has a 1.4 4-in-line engine. A big Garret Turbo, and it's got about 160 horsepower. I don't know how many of that is left today. It still feels very fast though, especially when that turbo kicks in. It's quite a sensation. Man, those are the numbers, the stats of the Renault 5. But this car is about so much more than just those numbers, just those stats. It's about the experience, the sensation of driving it. And as I said before, it's ultimately, fundamentally, it's a rally car. It was developed to drive in a World Rally Championship. Oh boy. Woo. It sure feels fun to drive. I love it. It's quirky, it's French, it's a bit crazy, it's a bit nutty. A small hot hatch, an engine in the back, lightweight, rear wheel drive, mind you. These were quite tricky back in the days. And this is a Turbo 2, but the Turbo 1 was, the owner of this car told me, the Turbo 1, there's about 50% of them left, 50% of them burned down. And yeah, it is a bit of a tricky car. Yeah, like I said, this car is about the experience, about the sensation, the feeling when you drive it, and the feeling is all there. The steering, it's just heavy enough, it's not too heavy, it's got enough feeling, can do what the front wheels are doing. You hear the rumbling in the background. And you got all these beautiful Jaeger old school 80s dials in front of you, some turbo dials as well. And you can just see the boost moving with your foot. It follows the movement of your foot exactly. It's so cool. And yeah, despite it being French from the 80s, all electrics still seem to work. It's a hot day. It's got the window down, and it's got electric windows, which you operate in the center, which is kind of funny. It's quirky, I guess. But yeah, I genuinely love this car. You sit quite upright. It's a very unique driving position. But these Sparco seats offer enough support in the corners. And they're quite comfortable as well. I wouldn't want to drive all the way to the south of France in this, but the engine right behind you is a bit noisy, a bit warm. Now, this car is not cheap. They have a bit of a cult status, if you will. And you can see it in the price nowadays. These cars have gone up in value considerably. Ah, that turbo is so addictive. And yeah, I'm taking it easy. I'm taking it very easy. I'm not even getting to max revs in this car. I'm taking it very easy. But it's so much fun. It's addictive. It's an experience. Oh, it's like gunfire back there. These people around you are not going to be happy with me, I'm afraid. The throttle with the turbo, it's very on or off. Once that turbo kicks in, you're going. Once you lift your foot, just feel the turbo dial down. Very, very cool experience, and unlike anything I've ever experienced before. So, that was it. The Renault 5 Turbo. An amazing machine, a crazy machine. A rally car for the road. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Now if you did, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button as well. Check out S2 Classic Cars as well. They've very kindly made this car available for me today. So check out their inventory, follow them on Instagram. I'll put their link down in the description, and I'll catch you at the next video. Bye.